Good afternoon. I am so happy you made it here today. We are at the start of the senior celebration season, and I'm so grateful that so many of you can make it out on such a gorgeous day. And it wouldn't really be a central event if we didn't have some fun with the parking. So I hope you all got a good parking spot and were able to make it in. I know there'll be a few people who'll be coming in a little right on the edge. But that's central. I'm Dr. Gogarty. I'm the Director for Advanced Learning, and I'm your host for this recognition ceremony today. Yes, class of 2024 senior members, will you please stand up for a moment? Thank you. I just want to say from the bottom of my heart that I love you. I really, really do. I mean, looking out at you and getting to know you these past few years, some of you 6 years, some of you 5 years, some of you 4, 3, many years, my heart just swells with the joy of your triumphs. And the you that is you. You sparkle for me. You know, my Uncle Danny turns 101 this year. And he grew up in the Great Depression. He was at Pearl Harbor in 1941, in December 7th. And part of his job was to, after the attack, survive it, and then try to pull bodies out of the ocean. He had a really rough time. But he used to say, tough times don't last, but tough people do. What's interesting about that is that he was so gentle and so kind, and it always seemed weird to me that he described himself as tough. But what made him tough was not a rough exterior and an ability to withstand so much, although he was able to do that. It was that despite all the hardships that he had in his life, he remained open to new experiences and new people, that he remained open to joy and love and light. And that's what I see in you, class of 2024, and I mean that. That's what I see in you. Toughness is about being able to face uncertainty and remember that the only thing you can control sometimes is your reaction to what happens, not controlling what happens. And you choose to react with grace, humility, and a love for your fellow humans. You embrace the whole person. And that's an amazing quality. You're also quite outstanding in so many ways. Do you know the average grade point average of this graduating class? And this is the average, the mean, the midpoint, is 4.17. Yeah. You, the class of 2024, have attended contests and competitions and exhibits and presentations in creative writing, literature, art, mathematics, science, and history. And you've qualified for top national and international recognitions in math and science. You participated in community service, elevated the discourse about social justice issues, spoken at school board meetings. Seniors, if at any time in your experience at the Academy you have participated in any one of these opportunities, will you please stand up? Thank you. Most of you have been at Academy for a long time. How many of you have been here since middle school? Please stand up. All right, thank you. We're getting a workout today. Here we go. Seniors, if you are graduating with any college credit at all, please stand up. Now, remain standing if you will have 5 or more credits. All right, you can get tired, friends. Remain standing if you have 10 or more credits. 15 or more credits. 20 or more credits. 25 or more credits. 30 or more credits. 35 or more. 40 or more credits. 45? 50? Woo! And just to keep in perspective, one semester is 15 credits. That's incredible. Seniors, please stand up if you have already been awarded a college scholarship. Thank you. Like I said, I am so impressed with this group. And you will see today that it goes beyond just their achievements, but to them as people. This is a remarkable group of young people. Now, this has been a long journey to get to this point, but it has gone by so quickly. And we did not get here alone. Parents and families, will you please stand up and be recognized for your support of our soon-to-be graduates? We're all going to work out. All right. Congratulations to all of you. Now, we will begin recognizing seniors in just a moment. So those seniors whose last names begin with A through F, last name A through F, going back through this way and around that side, and Ms. Burkett and company will get you all lined up. A through F. Go back that way and go to the left. We have a lot of confidence that we can do this without a rehearsal. All right. Central Academy would not be what it is today without the tireless dedication, amazing expertise, and thoughtful counsel of her teachers and staff. And I am blessed and humbled to work among such outstanding educators. Let's go for the staff. I would like to take a moment and recognize the long service of our graduating staff members. First, Ann Cross, science teacher. She is to become the president of the DMEA next year. Jason Danielson. He is becoming the ALP consultant at Roosevelt next year. Rachel Lenz, Japanese teacher. She's going to become a full-time artist next year. Misha Pinkney, English teacher. Ms. Pinkney is also going to be an artist and also in service of humanity. Terry Steinman, English teacher. She's going to become an Avenue Scholars coach at Hoover next year. Now this presentation today was the work of a lot of people, and I need to take just a special moment to recognize all of our clerical staff who did so much to bring this together. Herkeisha Burkett, Kendra Williams, Sulema Reyes, and Shelley Rennes. And of course, my partner, the Associate Principal at Central Academy, Janelle Danner. All right, first up, Mr. Danielson will handle the first group of names.
First of all students with the last name G through L, you can make your way back over there. Ahmed Abdallah. Ian Alonzo. William Anderson. Julia Arcello. Amalia Ariano. Evelyn Aaron. Curtis Badia. Alistair Bailey. Aurelie Berrigan Flores. Maureen Bergman. Lexi Bingham. Audrey Bismeyer. Catherine Bright. Lexton Brooks. Nisha Udatoki. Brianna Butner. Jennifer Cardenas Hernandez. Jessica Burgett. Savannah Carlson. Eric Castillo Ramirez. Dylan Castro. Vivian Sermine. Joel Chan. Elichar Chungath. Azaria Crockett. Carmela Davidson. Allison DeLuna. Winston Diaz. Atoria Dunlap. Alec Fielkov. Jonah Flynn. Play on 4-4. Lauren Fox Broomstidle.
Terry Stein.
Grace Gay. Nathan Gebhardt. Elena Gentry. Tyler Gibbs. Avery Glenn. Yassine Hassan. Owen Hewitson. Emerson Hilton Steinbeck. Nia Irvin. Hannah Hayes. Bear with us, folks. Abigail Henry. Lillian Katudu. Hayden Kling. Owen Kruger. Kathleen Loader. Anna Lundy. Boreal Hogaveen. Victory Ibaki. Trey Jackson. Cameron Jenkins. Aiden Jones. Ivan Kelly. There we go. Blythe Kettleson. Taylor Kunkel. Dion Long. Benjamin Lyda. Dublin Lloyd. Mackenzie Luter. Marlene Louise Reyes. Oh, she did. Mindy Luong. And Vanna Lou. Did I miss? Oh, Patience Jones.
Spencer Masamora. Sophia Matthews. Maya Maxwell. Andrea Mayorga. Diana Melendez Argueta. Fardoza Mohammed. Elin Moore. Ren Moyer. Icarus Myers. Jacqueline Neverett. Anna Wen. Hayden Wen. Jimmy Wen. Min Wen. Trish Wen. Honora Knighty. Yair Nieto Castellano. Ezra Noor. Samuel Norris. Sydney Parker. Kevin Perez. Abigail Pfeiffer. Declan Phillips. Michael Pinkney. Nadia Powell. Devin Rennes. Natalie Rhodes. Annalise Rios. Michaela Rothschild. like to introduce Sean Moschel to read the last list of names.
Hi. Joshua Sadler. Paola Santiago Martinez. Addison Schecker. Haley Schleter. Shiny Seydoux. Olivia Seaman. Reed Severs. Oliver Sloan. Elena Smith. Heather Smith. Lydia Smith. Eli Smithberg. Quentin Susi. Sagito So. Esther Staplin. Kiera Steenhook. Ashley Stevens. Reese Thompson. Charles Tim. Angel Toluwalasha. Genesis Trujillo Lopez. Peyton Twalmeyer. Amelia Vermeer. Viviane Vernier. Minween Vo. Gabrielle Walsh. Anna Wardeen. Riley Wells. Jonah Wilk Shapiro. Chloe Williams. Philip Williams.
Weston Wise. Christopher Young. And last but not least, everybody's favorite Groucho Marx fan, William Zdenek. It's good to get to go last when all the kinks have been worked out.
Thank you for your patience as we worked out a few things. I apologize for any errors that we made. If you did not get your certificate as expected, please stop by the main office on Monday and we will have it for you. I am so sorry for the confusion there. So, onward. The community of racial equity comes together every week to support each other as students of color undertaking advanced academic coursework and discuss important issues of the day. They conduct workshops to educate each other on far-ranging issues. They've conducted fundraisers and organized panel discussions and given voice to help us improve the academy experience. The senior leader of CORE being recognized today is Curtis Badio. Please come forward.
National Merit Scholars is an academic scholarship competition. The highest achieving students in the nation on the PSAT exam are deemed National Merit Scholars. Semi-finalists for this award are within the top 0.5% of all students in their state. Since 1985, every National Merit semifinalist in Des Moines has attended one or more classes at Central Academy. Semifinalists are invited to apply to be recognized as National Merit Scholar finalists. Winners of this designation have been judged to have the strongest combination of academic skills and achievements, extracurricular accomplishments, and potential for success at the most rigorous universities. All of the Academy semifinalists were named finalists this year. National Merit finalists are, please come down when I read your name. Evelyn Aaron, sorry. Elliot Cataldi. Alec Fialkov. Quentin Susi. And Philip Williams.
The College Board names AP scholars in July after all the testing has been completed. So this is the list from the end of the junior year, and many of you will move up a category after this year. AP Scholar is granted to students who receive 3 or higher on 3 or more AP exams. These were the AP Scholars at the end of your junior year. Sebastian Alfaro Magna. Ian Alonso, William Anderson, Evelyn Aaron, Hans David, Carmela Davidson, Play on 4-4. Lauren Fox Grunstadel, Calvin Goldsberry, Hannah Hayes, Victory Ibaki, Maya Kissel, Owen Kruger, Avery Lawler, Kathleen Loader, Mia Maxwell, Andrea Mayorga, Santiago Melendez Lopez, Isabella Moyer, Ren Moyer, pardon me, Braden Page, Declan Phillips, Devin Renez, Maya Rousseau, Haley Schumacher, Lillian Smith, Saji Doso, Natalie Strain, Charles Tim, Genesis Trulio Lopez, Augustine Vance, Ho Wah, Christopher Young. AP Scholar with Honor, granted to students who receive an average score of at least a 3.25 on all AP exams and a score of 3 or higher on 4 or more of these exams. Please come forward. Henry Beaumont, Lexi Bingham, Benjamin Clark, Daniel Philhall, Owen Hewitson, Layla Kirk, Oliver Sloan, Eli Smithburg, Kira Steenhook, Liam Zabednik, AP Scholar with Distinction, granted to students who receive an average score of at least a 3.5 on all AP exams taken and scores of 3 or higher on 5 or more of those exams. Please come forward. Elliot Cataldi, Joel Chan, Andy Chen, Ellie Chunga, Winston Diaz, Alec People, Elena Gentry, Joey P., Borio Given, Trey Jackson, Ivan Kelly, Anna Lundy, Kevin Wen, Sam Norris, Sydney Parker, Abigail Pfeiffer, Joshua Sadler, Addison Shaker, Reed Sievers, Quentin Susi, Midwin Vo, Jody Wilkie Shapiro, Philip Williams, and Weston Wise. Okay, presenting our AP Capstone Diploma recognition is Mr. Kamer.
The class of 2024 is our largest class to ever attempt the Innovative Advanced Placement Capstone Diploma Program. Students who participate complete 2 additional AP classes, conducting independent research, collaborative teamwork, and communication skills. The Capstone Diploma is awarded to students who earn a 3 or higher in both AP Seminar and AP Research, and on an additional 4 AP exams of their choosing. We will not know until scores come out in July if they have earned the credential, but their work over the last 2 years is culminating in some amazing research that resembles many master's theses. Please come forward and be recognized. Dyron Castro. Winston Diaz, Kylan Colfer, Elena Gentry, Calvin Goldberg, Hannah Hayes, Trey Jackson, Kathleen Morgan, Anna Lundy, Andrea Leola, Ezra Noy. That's what I Haley Schluter, Reed Sievers, Saw Stiles, Ash Stevens, Genesis Trujillo Lopez, Jonah Wilkie Shapiro, and Weston Wise.
Former Prep Academy advisor Dennis Hildreth was a personal friend of mine and such a wonderful educator. Some of you may remember him with his colorful scars and high ones. The Prep Academy class of 2024 was the last class that he shepherded into Central Academy. He passed away shortly in the fall of 2019. He believed in service, in inclusion, in finding people's strengths and helping them build on them. He was humble and wise. So, we, the Central Academy staff, choose one student each year who embodies the spirit of Mr. Hildreth. The student we chose this year got ringing endorsements from every department at Central Academy. They said things like, hard worker, so kind, comes prepared, a woman with a plan who follows through, brightens a room, lifts others up, cares, compassionate, patient with herself and others, curious, rises to challenge gracefully, strong, well-rounded academically, extracurricularly, and socially. Amazing, insightful questioner. She simply wanted to be a better writer, researcher, and deep thinker. Empathetic, a leader among her peers. They told stories about how she mentored others in AP chemistry, how she cried when RADAC was tough, but she never gave up and became a standout in AP calculus and AP statistics. She participated in swimming, track, tennis. She's an AP scholar with distinction and is taking 5 AP classes this year. For her quiet charm, preparedness, rich perspectives, critical insights, this year's Dennis Hildreth Award goes to Ming-Wen Bo.
The Academy staff select one senior from each high school from each of the 6 disciplines for special recognition in visual arts, mathematics, English, science, social studies, and world languages. And from that tiny group of accomplished students, one earns the top recognition. The seniors select the senior scholar. We will announce the top recognition student first, and then the others after them. I'm going to introduce Ms. Dara Green from the art department.
Next year I vote that we name art Zart so I can go last instead of first. Congratulations, class of 2024. Hey Potters, it's been my honor to get to know each and every one of you. I hope you all take the lessons of pottery with you on your life's journey, in the good times and the bad. Remember, the biggest mistake you can make is being too afraid to make one. Ask yourself, would you rather only make 5-inch cylinders for the rest of your life, or fail a couple times making 20-inch cylinders? Remember saying, I can't sinner, and how everything changed with the power of yet when you said, I can't sinner yet. Remember to not take yourself too seriously. When the clay goes flying off the wheel and across the room, we laugh. It's as simple as that. Be prepared to fail. In fact, embrace it. The greatest ideas come from people who problem solve their failures. Progress over perfection. That is what is really most important. Let me say that one more time for the people in the back. Progress over perfection. Let's always focus on that. Do what you need to do to be okay and advocate for yourself. You control the clay, AKA your life. Don't let it control you. And most importantly, you've got this. Every year, one graduate from each of our program gets special recognition for their greatness. Every year, this looks a little different for our pottery program. Last year, we honored a potter who went above and beyond his studio studies by collecting, researching, and testing local wild clay. Before that was a potter who not only made exceptional work, but also learned how to run and manage our studio in preparation for having their own studio. And another potter a few years back took on the role of co-teaching with me for our adult pottery classes. This year, our outstanding potter is a combination of all of these prior exceptional potters and more. She has spent every free moment in the studio practicing and challenging herself from her beginning pottery class to her master class her senior year. Even when she was unable to be in the studio due to having COVID, I remember her waving at me from her second-story bedroom window while I dropped off a pottery wheel and supplies to her while she was in quarantine so she could still work. With her passion for teaching and learning, her junior year, she co-taught our adult pottery classes with me. And now in her senior year, she is my teaching and studio assistant for our high school classes. She has tested numerous glazes, helping us revise our glaze lineup over the past 2 years. She not only pushes the limits of the clay and her skills, but also our kilns. Throwing pots so large that just one pot takes up the entirety of a kiln. Her sense of design and attention to detail is admired by everyone who witnesses her work. She even has her own fan base on our Instagram account. And all of this is just the beginning of her journey in clay. Next year, she will attend the most distinguished ceramic program in the nation at Alfred University in New York. Our pottery program will forever be better having her start her journey with us. This year's outstanding potter goes to Amelia Vermeer.
If you don't follow us on Instagram, Central Academy Potters, check out Amelia's work.
I like that she wore her studio clothes to recognition today. Good job, Amelia. All right, our high school outstanding seniors from each of our high schools is Peter McCain, Meadow, if you could hold your applause, Meadow Dollhouse, Kira Hayhew, and Jayla Drew. I think the only Potter is Kira here. Anybody else besides Kira? All right, we'll give these out in the studio. Thank you.
Next with English is Miss Terry Steinman.
It's me again. Hi. I'm gonna get it right this time, I promise. Okay. My glasses on. So every year as the English department meets to talk about our outstanding seniors, so many things come to mind. Usually a love of literature, a love of writing, a joy for the classroom, a joy for our content. And this year was truly no different. We had an enormous list of deserving, incredible seniors. And so the difficult task of narrowing it down to one it was a challenge. Our recipient this year began their journey at Central Academy as a 7th grade prep student. From the outset, they were motivated and focused on their learning in the classroom. Always supportive of their peers, they have never seen other students as competition, but they take every opportunity to help others rise alongside them. From prepping for tests to those AP pre-exam sessions, to encouraging friends to apply for scholarships that they themselves are very worthy of, and everything in between. We as a department watched with pride as this incredible young student flourished in the areas of critical thinking and analysis in all of their academy coursework, not just in the English classrooms. They have spent countless hours putting those writing skills to use on science projects, AP seminar and capstone courses, and even took time out of their summer to participate in meetings concerning the use of AI in academic writing, making very certain to note but the skills they gained from learning the writing process inside and out gave them immeasurable skills in other content areas. Finally, we felt it was important to recognize that this student is so much more than a student. They have given an incredible amount of time to their family and community by acting as translator, and we all know that this will serve them well in their future studies at Wash U as they begin their journey towards a career in medicine. I'm sorry. I'm gonna get it together. Genesis Trujillo. You have been a bright spot in our department. Your passion for education, your exemplary skills at being an all-around amazing human have given us so much joy to witness, and we are going to miss you. Okay. The English department would also like to honor several outstanding seniors from the home high schools. So in no particular order, I promise. We would like to recognize Sophia Matthews, Nadia Powell, Allison DeLuna, Shiny Seydoux. Pick a side, where are we going? Sydney Parker. And finally, Play on 4-4.
Next, with mathematics, we have Mr. Mike Marchetti.
Thank you. I really do value the privilege to be able to talk to the community of students, families, loved ones who really value education, inquiry, perseverance, and continual growth. Heck, seniors, think of the continual learning that's happened today. You probably walked in thinking 5 was the number of seniors who actually read every page of Brothers K. But it's actually the number of seniors who are National Merit finalists. Okay? You probably, at the start of this ceremony, thought 24 was the number of essays you were assigned each month in English. Might be, but it's definitely the number of seniors who are AP capstone candidates. And heck, you probably thought 66 was the average number of minutes you have to wait to find a parking spot in a student plot. But it's also the number of seniors who are in AP Scholar designation. Okay. And some things you haven't heard of yet, 60 is not the number of cars that vanish into potholes in that student lot. 60 is not the number of times your bus to Central was late during your career at Central. But it's definitely the number of seniors who've completed calculus at Central Academy while they were still in high school, which is really impressive. And those numbers are used on purpose to demonstrate how challenging it is to pick a senior to receive our departmental award. There were many seniors who won awards at various math contests and participated in incredibly rigorous math modeling contests. But before we talk about the reasons that we chose this person, let's just get the suspense over with. And come on up, please. This year's Math Recognition Awardee is Alec Fialka. So Alex participated in 6 modeling contests where his team had deadlines from between 14 and 96 hours to develop a mathematical model and a paper detailing the model and how it solved a massive real-world problem. And to try to show what set Alec apart from the other extremely deserving considerees, I'm going to paraphrase part of his college recommendation that someone wrote. Succinctly and simply, Alec Fialka is one of the top learners and thinkers that I've been fortunate enough to teach in nearly 2 decades at Central Academy. On a daily basis in class, Alec reveals an inspiring combination of amazing communication ability, profound interest in learning, uncommon exuberance for life in general, a brilliant mind that processes as deeply and rapidly as one could conceive, and a radiant persona that maintains positivity amongst a daunting schedule of interests and activities. In 10th grade, Alec took our advanced math problem-solving class. And despite being one of the youngest class members, Alec frequently guided solution discussions. The material covers more in the realm of mathematical Olympiad math than typical secondary school math. Yet this 15-year-old kept eagerly applying creativity and insight into the deep problems we were discussing. Alec revealed his transcendence to me completely on his team for the high school mathematical contest in modeling. This contest, sponsored by organizations like the NSA and the Mathematical Association of America, is the most intense feat I ask students to attempt. Teams of up to 4 members have 2 weeks to research, develop a model to resolve a real problem, write the model up like a professional journal article, and write an abstract and a persuasive letter convincing readers as to why the model should be chosen. Alec's team finished in the top 10 of all teams from around the world and the top 2 American teams. By virtue of this feat, they moved on to the International Math Modeling Contest against the top 2 teams from various countries around the world, where they earned honorable mention. What set his team apart from the other great mathematicians entered in this contest was Alec's writing ability, as well as his ability to synthesize and communicate the code and the high-level mathematical model that he and his teammates had developed. Alec also excelled at keeping everyone organized while working on various parts of this complex project, and kept everyone's spirits light and productive in this onerous endeavor. His maturity was amazing for anyone of any age. And you all may have seen Alec interviewed on WITV after that achievement. Last year, Alec's team finished among the top 30 in the country and was again invited to the International Math Modeling Contest. These anecdotes exemplify the reasons we were able to distinguish Alec from the many wonderfully talented mathematicians in this senior class. And it's with pleasure that we named him the 2024 Mathematics Department Award winner. We're also allowed to present Math Department Distinguished Scholars by Homeschool. And this year's recipients are, this certificate's not here, but I don't think the student is either. And hold your applause till the end, please. From East, Christopher Young. From Hoover, Carmela Davidson, come on up if you're here. From North, Sebastian Alfaro Mayana. From Lincoln, Jody He. And from Roosevelt, Philip Williams.
Representing our science department is Mr. Brad Jacobson.
Always following Marquette, I tell you. Welcome, community members, families, and students. While I was thinking about how to approach today, I thought, why don't we hype academic success like athletic success? We hear about the 6'2", 220-pound football prospect with quick reflexes and straight line speed. Why don't we hear about the student with an eye for use substitution and Kirchhoff's laws? Well, here's our attempt. Our science award recipient this year is 5 foot something, weighs I have no idea. But their eye for attacking a challenging problems are hawk-like. When they see a challenging problem, they attack it from all angles, and they're not afraid to try an approach and then change the approach if it's not working. This student's curiosity is off the charts. It's immeasurable. They're constantly asking questions and digging deeper into their academic pursuits. When talking to their previous teacher, Miss Taylor, she commented how they make the whole team better. They ask questions, they ask follow-up questions, and they make sure everyone understands and moves forward together. They do not leave their teammates behind. Oftentimes, they elevate class discussions without knowing that they're doing it. They truly help the whole class grow. Coachability, off the charts. They're not afraid to make mistakes. They have a growth mindset and are always looking for ways to improve their understanding. Sense of self, They are a reflective learner. They reflect on their progress and work to adjust their understandings. They accurately predicted their AP exam score, and I expect great things on their AP physics scores this year. They're a great teammate. They're absolutely willing to work with anyone. They have a great sense of humor and have fun in class while fine-tuning their critical thinking skills and learning a little bit about physics and chemistry along the way. Their analysis skills are amazing. The student formulates arguments based on data and evidence like no other. If the evidence and conclusion don't match, they see their errors and they get back to work. It's a treat to read their work because I can actually read their writing. And they're an effective communicator. They're able to tell a story. They don't leave me room to come up with some convoluted conclusion. They lay it out nicely. We're able to all read it and understand it. Focus, they're off the charts. The stat is unbelievable. 0 cell phone redirects over 5 years. Nope, I don't think I've ever had that in any class. And this is just in. They have committed to a very exclusive program and will be studying physics in Japan. Your Science Award recipient, Ivan Kelly. Our other awardees from the home high schools and other programs. I'll read through them all. You all can come up here and we'll give them all a big round of applause at the end. From Hoover, Allison DeLuna. From Lincoln, Joey He. From Roosevelt, Boreal Hugaving. From Home Instruction and other high schools, Dublin Lloyd. From East, Kevin Perez. And from North, Genesis Trujillo Lopez.
Next, from our social science department, Miss Canada Myers-Snyder.
Hello, good afternoon. How's everybody doing? You okay? All right, well, welcome. Thomas Sankara stated, "There is no true social revolution without the liberation of women." You may wonder who Thomas Sankara was. So did Mr. Vauchel 3 years ago, and so did I today. He was the president of Burkina Faso in West Africa during the 1980s. So why does this matter? Because the social science department selected a young woman who knows a lot about Thomas Sankara and the liberation of women to be our department award winner this year. And she knew a lot about him in 9th grade. Remember, I just learned today. This young woman learned high school government online during her 8th grade year and willingly stayed on Teams after the class was dismissed to discuss Pan-Africanist and Marxist leaders in West Africa in 8th grade. One of Thomas Sankara's explicit goals in his government was to include a large number of women, which is an unprecedented policy priority in West Africa in the 1980s, and arguably even today. He achieved many of those goals, much like our department award winner, who has uplifted women's roles and voices throughout her career at Central Academy. For example, in our college preparatory course, AP seminar, this young woman lifted the voices of Indigenous women by researching the resilience of Indigenous people. In her argument, she stated, quote, "One can make the argument of Indigenous communities being too trusting of white people, but that further places blame on Indigenous people, when Indigenous people had nothing but resilience to survive upon. Indigenous communities fought for centuries and are still fighting today through largely a peaceful battle against genocide and oppression today. Resilience is perseverance through adversity and acknowledging hardships and working to not let it destroy you, end quote. In her follow-up presentation, she further explored this argument utilizing primary and secondary sources such as photography, cartoons, children's books, and social branding. She used Disney's Pocahontas film as an excellent example of the, quote, noble savage stereotype, end quote, and, quote, propaganda masquerading as history. And further completed deeper research into female-identified Indigenous artists such as Tracy Sorrell, and then passed out a business card, with each artist's name on it so students could further view the resilience of these female artists. I still have this business card front and center on my desk, and I look at it every day and remind myself about their work. I asked if she would later present this information, this argument, to some of my other classes, and she graciously did so in 11th grade. She also wrote reports and arguments on Title IX's impact in male.
Okay, I'll just use my teacher voice. She also wrote reports and arguments on Title IX's impact in male-dominated sports and asked the question, if the U.S. education system would continue to enforce Black intergenerational poverty. This young woman lifts up voices of her peers through her support of her peers, her volunteer work, and even supporting her teachers. She even lent me a powerful female protagonist book, which I read over spring break and thought was fantastic. Mr. Danielson stated, quote, "She is brilliant, thoughtful, and comfortable conversing about a wide range of challenging topics. She is a thorough researcher and incredible writer. In a unit in African American Studies on Black culture, she analyzed hers, which is a singer-songwriter, I Can't Breathe, masterful song, and was, quote, sophisticated and insightful as anything I encountered at the graduate level. His thesis was an intersection of music and history. She incorporated literary, musical, sociological, and historical analysis to extract and articulate the deep significance of the relevance of poetry and music to address social issues. And as a musician, she introduced him to some excellent listening, even though she still hasn't managed to stump him on jazz. Mr. Danielson loves that Ellie doesn't hesitate to call him out when he misdeeds or tends towards white saviorism. She has an endearing combination of confidence and humility, seriousness and fun, kindness and justice that will make her an exceptional college student and powerful citizen and advocate throughout her life and for others, especially in true liberation. See Sankara earlier. He forwarded her analysis along to our entire department of this song, and it took my breath away. I immediately actually began crying, which isn't too unusual for me. She analyzed this piece, and I'll share one particular part with you. When the musician Her sings, quote, if we all agree we are equal as people, then why can't we see what is evil? I can't breathe. You're taking my life from me. Ellie's analysis stated, quote, movement through this makes her physically incapable of breathing throughout the whole verse. In everyday life, Black people are given space, time, etc. to breathe. It's more than what George Floyd saw as he was dying, about the othering Black people go through all the time. The social science department proceeded to ask for names of students to win this award. Every single one of us who had this young woman in class stated her name immediately. It was unanimous from the beginning. We are so very honored to be in this young woman's presence, to have had the opportunity to have taught her, and we cannot wait for her leading the next true social revolution. With very much respect and warm regards, congratulations to Miss Ellie Shunga. Our department would also like to take a moment to recognize excellence in students from some of the home schools. So please hold your applause until afterwards. And these students, please come on up. Dyron Castro, Eric Castillo Ramirez, Genesis Trujillo Lopez, Ash Stevens, Icarus Myers, Lucy Falkstrom. Next from our World Languages Department is Rachel Lenz.
Choosing a distinguished scholar for world languages is always a difficult task because we teach so many different languages at Academy. It was especially difficult this year because this is the class that began their world language studies during our lovely COVID year online, which was not exactly ideal for language studies. There was a gap between first semester, which was crammed into 9 weeks, and then second semester, and then for these guys who were first years, there was a 5-month gap between finishing the second semester and beginning the first semester of their second year. Nonetheless, the student to whom this award goes to managed, despite the fact that their entire class pretty much showed up on the first day of second year Japanese without being able to read or write language anymore, thanks to that lovely 5-month gap. And by the end of the year was 1 point away from qualifying for the seal of biliteracy. Their junior year, they did qualify for that seal, which they repeated their senior year. And this is nothing compared to their other achievements in class, such as answering questions so that I don't have to answer questions all of the time, and preventing Addison from jumping out the window for 3 years in person. And you've already heard, this is spoiler alert, nobody is going to be surprised by this after the science award. Their crowning achievement was getting into the University of Hokkaido, which not even one of
this really does run very, very smoothly. I'm not sure what happened this year, but we're going to get it together for next year if you have younger students coming back. Okay. So, the Senior Scholar Award is voted upon by the Academy's senior class and is awarded to the student who best exemplifies what it means to be an Academy student. Students who come to the Academy choose to take on a more rigorous course load, which surprisingly is not something all students choose to do. They typically love learning, and while the amount of work may sometimes feel overwhelming, they know it will prepare them well for what comes next. This year's scholar is described by teachers as a highly motivated student. In addition to their academic pursuits, they are also a talented musician, a drum major, editor of a literary publication, and the lead in many theatrical productions. Their teachers use the following words and phrases to describe this student. There's a whole lot of really big words here, lots of words to describe this person. So, they are intellectually gifted, creative, driven, a thinker, a writer, a speaker, a valuable and thoughtful contributor, motivated, resilient, inquisitive, dedicated, this is, I told you, energetic, humorous, and full of grace. In summation, they have been described as, quote, one of the most delightful and promising students of a career, unquote. There cannot be a more fitting reason to recognize Sydney Parker as this year's senior scholar. And now, the moment you have all been waiting for, our final speaker. Seniors, you voted and selected one member of your class to give the senior address. Out of all of the amazing voices we have already had here today, you selected a deep thinker and a kind heart. It is my great pleasure to introduce Sydney Parker.
I'm really glad we got this working. Sweating a lot. Hello, my name is Sydney Parker. My home school is Lincoln High School, and I have been a student at Central Academy since 7th grade. By a show of hands, how many of you were considered gifted, talented, advanced, or some other variation in elementary or middle school? Parents, teachers, friends, alumni, feel free to raise a hand as well. For as long as I can remember, labels and achievements have dominated my education. It was about the scores on Iowa assessments, being gifted and talented, who could read the hardest books, and solve the hardest math problems. Educational achievement and social life were the same thing. As a 12-year-old, I was told I was advanced enough to spend my education surrounded by other advanced people at Central Academy. The education I have received here has been outstanding. The teachers are empathetic and encouraging, providing unique rigor and unwavering support. Central is a community of activists, and the staff reflects that. However, this academic arena comes with an unexpected byproduct. When I was in 8th grade, I remember us being shown a video of high school students discussing their mental health problems because of their time at Academy. At the time, I shrugged it off. That feeling of incompetence compared to my peers surely fades with time. I am an outlier, a success story. I was dead wrong, of course. That nagging feeling, the guilt of just being here, is still lingering to this day, even here on this stage. My friends are some of the brightest people I know, but most of them also feel this deficit. But where does this imposter syndrome come from? As many of us have learned in our history courses, the space race was an exciting time for American technological innovation. Beginning in the mid-1950s, America battled with the USSR to be the first to the moon. America prioritized high-level STEM courses, and there was another realization occurring. There's a wide array of children excelling in their classes, so why don't we turn those kids into little scientists fighting for the American dream? From this, the idea of gifted education was born. So wow, that's a lot to take in. Labels mean a lot, especially in adolescent and teenage years, so learning that this whole chunk of my identity was manufactured to fuel an imperialist hunger for cosmic conquest really shook me. I'm sure that most of us in this room have felt competent at some point in our education, especially in an environment like Central, where your ideas are constantly being challenged and your peers are quick up to any academic gains you have. It is difficult to cease your comparison to others, but you must learn resilience. I think another one of Central's great strengths is finding that being uncomfortable is natural. While it sucks to feel insecure around your extremely talented peers, everyone will feel small at some point. Confronting your labels, self-imposed or put upon you at a young age, is crucial to growth. Being a student at Central is not only about the math you can do or the books you have read, or even how to cite things in MLA format. Being a student here is about learning to adapt to discomfort, not taking things at face value, and shedding those labels. We are close to ending this chapter of our education. Soon, our high school GPAs won't matter any more than what we wore or the bad hair days that we had. It is always important to see yourself as more than a number or a set of circumstances, but now it is a perfect time to shed those beliefs. Soon we will enter the workforce, go off to college, and figure out what our next step is. But as we make that next step, it is crucial to remember that being uncomfortable is normal and something you can overcome, just as you have overcome comparison, labels, and AP exams. Thank you for listening. Congratulations to the class of 2024, and remember to be kind to yourself.
The Central Academy Alumni Network would like to welcome the class of 2024 to their ranks. You can sign up at centralacademyalumninetwork.org/connect/, or you can use the QR code that's found on the inside page of your program. Thank you for joining us to celebrate the hard work and dedication of our seniors. Congratulations, seniors. A reception follows this program. Refreshments are in the room directly below us, complete with a backdrop for some photos and fun. Please feel free to mingle. Thank you all for attending.